morning everyone. Good afternoon everyone. Welcome to my presentation of Group 2. And I'm the group leader of Group 2. Today my group will present the non-equivalence in idioms. And my content is translating colloquial expressions from diary with kids. This is my members and contents of each member. Now, turn to part 1. The first source text information. We know about the diary of Wilkie Kids. The author of this book is Jeff Kidney, and it is published in 2007. This diary is published for children and teenagers from about 8 to 14 years old. So my content we selected have about 300 and 350 words, and with it described the first day of middle school of the boy in a school in the middle school. His name is Jeff Lee. With the informal, colloquial, and first-person narrative, it has an impressive. There are many idioms in this content, so we can explore it and adapt, and we can give the non-equivalence. Now, next. So next is the reason why I choose the context. First, we have 3 reasons. The first reason is idiom intensity. The second is colloquial register, and the last is translation challenge. With the first, idiom density, there are many idioms and colloquial in this context, so it is easier for us to explore. And the next is with the content with the informal language for adolescents and teenagers, not academic English, so it is not a challenge. And the last is translation challenge with American idioms and not have the prevalent in Vietnamese, so it is required to have the adaptation when we translate into Vietnamese. To explore further, we have Hang Lee will be introduced the next part of our presentation.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hang Lee. Today, I would like to talk about the translation focus and short text analysis. The first translation focus is as a group, we focus on non-equivalence at an idiom level. In other words, we look at expression in English that do not have a direct and natural equivalent in Vietnamese. According to the theory moderator, idioms are frozen pattern of language. It means we cannot decode them simply by translation is in individual words. Called translation challenges in idioms are culturally found. Is when we translation we keep the idiom in tone and humor, and naturalness is very important. However, many American idioms simply do not exist in Vietnamese culture. Last three is is called a non-equivalent. Now, the next short text analogy is the first style. First person diary is very conversational and informal. Second register intermediate counsel and user slang is contraction like owner and short sentence as short sentences and everyday idiom. The next target audience are original American children and return age to 14 years old and a translational Vietnamese student of a similar age. This is the main difficulties. Is right of the page grows fast and one with earth. Baseball idiom is right of the page is culturally alien to Vietnamese students. And biological term grows fast is sound to academic is translated literary. And warm in earth is represent subtle school classroom body language. Now the next presentation is Philip.
Hello teacher and everyone, my full name is Ling and now I would like to present translation process and paper strategies. My group follow a clear process. First, our group carefully read the extract from diary of Monkey Kid to understand the context, tones, and humorous writing style of the author. The second, we identify idiom and informal expression that could create translation difficulties between English and Vietnamese. And the third, we discuss their meaning in the context before translating them. And the fourth, we propose translation optional and details with one source most natural in Vietnamese. And the fifth, we apply mono-paper strategies in each case. And finally, after completing 5 steps above, we start, revise, and polish a final translation. In our group project, non-equivalent means that some English idiom do not have direct in Vietnamese equivalent because of cultural and linguistic difference. Also, literal translation can unnatural and confuse for Vietnamese reader. And let's move to the last part. Paper strategies used. My group applied 3 methods. The first method is using an idiom of similar meaning but different form. When Vietnamese has different fake expression thus carries the same idea. Secondly, translation by paragraph when we explain word using natural word. When we explain idiom using natural word. And finally, translation by omission. And that is the end of my part. And like this, kindly.
it still keeps very direct and more confident tone. Finally, the three. Third is the three. The third ideal is right of the back. The impression means the impression. This means impression immediately. In our translations, because we omit because because it's
Anh khỏe.
because in proper idioms immediately. The translation is due to translation by omission. So omission how shall sentence or how shall sentence for how the sound how shall sentence for natural or spoken Vietnamese. Until next speaker.
Good afternoon, everyone. Now I will present exam 4 and 5 in translation analysis. First, example 4. Any oldest translate to Vietnamese is bất kỳ cái ban nào. Which is the phrase any old the phrase any old be an informal physics expression in English. It does not all literally, but it means don't do that. There is no direct equivalent expressed in Vietnamese. So our group do translation by paraphrase by translating bất kỳ cái ban nào we can keep the original meaning and make the sentence sound natural in Vietnamese. And select example 5 of work of translate in to Vietnamese is Súa Hành Lý. Words of E of phrase verb idiom which means to prevent someone from coming closer, and because Vietnamese doesn't have an equivalent expression with the same structure, we also need a translation by paraphrase. The translation Súa Hành Lý clearly conveys the meaning and gives the humorous classroom context of the story. Out of 5 idioms, we use a paraphrase most often because many English idioms do not have a direct Vietnamese equivalent. Thank you for listening, and now I will pass to Huyên for the conclusion.
Hello everyone, my name is Huyên, and now I'm going to talk about finding a lesson learned from translating idiom in the expert from diary over repeat. First of all, the main thing that we explore that in the idiom cannot be translated literally into Vietnamese because they are closely connected to
cultural and context. If we translate idiom word for word, it may refer to unnatural or even meaningless in Vietnamese. Therefore, instead of translating word for word, we need to focus on translating conveys the meaning. About the most frequently used Baker strategy, word translation by paraphrase, which was applied to 3 out of 5 idiom. In addition, we also use translation by an idiom of similar form, a similar meaning but different form in one case and omission in another case. This suggests that translation by paraphrase is the most effective strategy because it preserves the meaning while keeping the natural and understandable for Vietnamese readers. However, the biggest translation difficulty that we face during our process of translation is that finding Vietnamese expression that could keep the both meaning and the cultural, humorous and emotional tones of a young boy.
Okay, that's that.